I know many friends who lost so much of their possessions during Typhoon Ondoy, when large parts of Metro Manila went underwater due to, unprecedented levels of rains and flooding. Houses went underwater, and all electric appliances, electronic equipment, gadgets, furniture, clothes were so water damaged that they had to be thrown away. I've also heard so many stories of how people lost everything they had during Typhoon Yolanda when it hit large areas of Visayas. I've personally seen how whole villages were wiped out when lahar from Mayon volcano in Legazpi City came loose and went rampaging along the path of these villages. People lost their homes, their livelihood, their material possessions. Many lost their loved ones. In the wake of loss and disaster, we struggle to understand how could a God who is all-powerful and all-knowing be also considered good and loving? Why does God allow earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, and typhoons? Why does He allow cyclones, mudslides, wildfire, and other natural disasters to damage communities and hurt, even kill people? Lagi nating tinatanong, bakit hinayaan ng Diyos na mangyari ang mga ito? Tragedies like these cause many people to question God's goodness. And it's strange how some people refer to natural disasters as, acts of God. And then give no credit to God for years and decades even of good weather. But looking at these tragedies this way is looking at them at the level of human beings. We judge these events based on how they impact human beings like us. I don't think we are in a position to look at these things this way. After all, we are just created beings, in the same way that God created the earth and the whole universe. God does certain things according to His purposes because He is God. And yes, many times, what God allows to happen or cause to happen have an impact on the lives of human beings, whether positively or negatively. Consider the statement by God Himself in this passage in the book of Isaiah. I form light and create darkness. I make well-being and create calamity. I am the Lord who does all these things. God created the whole universe, and He set in place the laws of nature. Most natural disasters we've experienced were a result of these laws of nature at work. Hurricanes, typhoons, tornadoes are the result of different weather patterns that collide in the atmosphere. Earthquakes happen when the Earth's tectonic plates shift due to internal pressure. A tsunami can be caused by an underwater earthquake. These are all part of the natural order of things. That's because we live in a broken world. The Bible tells us that when sin entered the world, all of nature was cursed. And because of this, death and destruction, calamities and chaos are natural components of this world. In much the same way that God allows evil people to commit evil acts, God allows the earth to reflect the consequences sin has had on creation. Now, there is at least one good thing that happens out of these disasters and calamities. We become acutely aware that life is very, very fragile and that we can die anytime. We also become keenly aware that this world, the way it is right now, is not meant to be our permanent home. The good news is that God promises in the Bible that He will soon recreate the world into a world that will no longer have disasters and calamities. there will be no more death and destruction. Eternal life is sure to come, and it will come soon. And so I asked, do you have eternal life? Do you have the assurance that you will be in that place where you can be with God forever? As we become more aware of the fragile nature of human life and our vulnerability to disasters and calamities, even as we find our assurance in a new and perfect world to come when the Lord returns, faith matters too.